Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Smitty back here for another video. I'm doing that head bob thing again. Hey, so we are in the redo of the 4L80E that I did a while back, and we had a valve blow out of the pump and caused a little bit of damage. Don't know if the E-clip gave way, it was just weak and blew the valve out of it, or what exactly happened on that deal, but anyway, we're taking care of it nonetheless. First things first, if you like the content, make sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button that's down there also, and leave me a comment, as I do read them. Thank you all for being here and supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. For you new people, thank you for stopping by. So yeah, we're in the process here. I got the case all mounted up, and I've got my bearing down in the bottom. I rollarized the rear of it, and we've got all this stuff to put back in. So it ought to go pretty smooth, but you never know. It's just the way things go sometimes. So like I said, if well, I'm not gonna repeat it anyway because I already said it. So let's get going on this dude and see if we can get the at least the case of it together, and we'll go from there. All right, so while we're waiting here, I think that I am going to put you up on a tripod, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to put this together as a unit. So I got the output carrier, and of course I never took it apart. So this would you'd want to do this carrier next, and it's a planetary, so all you got to do is get the planetary lined up, and it'll drop down in there. Like that. Take your sun gear, drop it in there. That's set like that, and then your center support will sit right on top of there. With this 3-piece bearing. You got an inner race, the bearing, and then your outer race. And that will sit right on top of that gear there. Then drop your good thing I looked at that. The washer came out of there. Alright, then that whole thing will sit on there. Kind of like that. Then you should be able to... Oh, here's something I want to mention. I've had people say that, or comment about lining up these holes, and I want to reiterate something. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, and I want you to see this. Alright. This sun gear has grooves in it, and they say, well, why didn't you line up the grooves with that hole right there? If you can see that hole, there's a small hole right there, right where my thumb is. This is, well, why didn't you line up the hole in that with the hole in this gear? Well, if you look down in this gear, if I can get it to pick up on it, Alright, there you can see it. See that channel right there in the center? Well, that coincides with this channel right here. So it doesn't really matter where this hole lines up, because it's going to oil this whole area in here. So any place that oil travels around this shaft right here is going to travel around the inside of that groove. So when this thing's lined up, you can see, you know, it sits right in that same groove that's inside that gear. So it won't really matter that it's not lined up. I just wanted to point that out. So anyway, again, we'll put this gear in there. We'll leave that out until we get this on there. Get your planetary line up and drop down in there. Like that. Your gear, sun gear. Then your bearing. Your other race, then drop your center support down in there. Alright, then you can put your shaft in. Like that. Alright, so I got a pair of vice grips set up on this shaft. And don't worry, the vice grips aren't going to hurt it. I don't have an insane grip on it. And that's a hardened shaft anyway, so the likelihood you damage it's pretty slim. That way we can drop this whole assembly in the case, hopefully with, you know, very little effort. So let's get this thing put in the case. Okay, we got to stick our band in there first. So let's get that lined up with our anchors down there. Take that snap ring out there for the time being. Always come out easier than they go in. There we go. I think it finally seated in there. Alright, so let's put our snap ring back in here because that's our center support. Like that. Alright, hopefully I don't drop this. Well, that went surprisingly smooth. Make sure that's down there all the way. Don't think we're quite there yet. It's a little bit too snug, I do believe. Yeah, it's a lot snug. Well, I don't think this band is sitting in here square, so let's pull it apart and see what's going on here. Kind of looks like it's not sitting in there square either. Nope, it's sitting up on one side. That looks a little better. I think we're sitting a little more square there. Put our center support ring back in there. And let's try this again. That is a thing of beauty. It is in there. Alright, now comes your snap ring. And your snap ring on this dude, it's beveled. So the bevel edge, I don't know if you all can see that, but the beveled edge goes up. And it goes about 9 o'clock. Snappy, perfect. And that's got the perfect amount of backlash in it. You can't hardly move this. You can't move this shaft any. It's perfect. All right, that's a good start. So now we'll put together our clutch, which that gets that wave plate first. Then you got a steel. Steel fiber, steel, got cocked in there. fiber, steel, fiber, steel. I should have probably put a couple of, I didn't catch that one. See if I got another steel. And last but not least, the last steel. Last fiber. And your pressure plate. Okay, then put your snap ring in, and again, the opening needs to be about 9 o'clock. Beautiful. All right, next we need to put our intermediate band in. Let's get that dude lined up on its pin. There we go. Just kind of sits in there. Alright, now you need to give yourself a substantial amount of lube on these seal rings. And the reason why I say that is you want it enough to where it might halfway stick in the groove. Because they want to stick out and they will hang up the drum as you put it in there. Right. Alright, so there's no bearing that rides up on top here because this direct housing sits right on top of the shaft, so it can't ever contact the top of there. So that being said, we'll just take the whole clutches out. Well, it gives you something to hang on to. I'd say we're all the way in there. Well, that worked pretty slick. For sure. Yeah, it feels like it's in there. Alright, so that worked pretty easy. So we'll just remember, if we ever have to do another one of these, take the clutches out. Alright, there's that. Okay, now we have our forward clutch. There it goes. Yeah, it's all the way in there. It's in there. Alright, once you get that in, then you can put your overdrive module in. Sure you line that up with your pin there. There we go. Just like that. And then, other than your pump, get your overdrive carrier. Get that dude all the way down in there. You pick up on a little bit, it should thud. When you drop it back down, it's all the way in there. So yeah, then the only thing we got left to put in this thing is the pump. So that's a good thing. You should be able to see your hole here for your fourth clutch apply. You should also be centered with your intermediate here. So it's in there. One thing I can tell you though that's just bothering me, and I think there's a bearing that we left out. And yep, there is. Don't forget your bearing. That's not even the right one. There we go. Very important bearing. There we go. All right. So next is the pump. All right, y'all. So that's going to end it for this video. If you liked your content, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Like that dude for me, and there's a subscribe button right down there on the bottom too. Hit that button for me. Share it with all your friends. Leave me a comment, as I do read the comments and I do respond to them. So yeah, you know, we've got it all back together there, you know, except for the pump, and we'll do that in another video. Because if you remember, this one, the TCC valve blew out of it because he either failed snap ring or something, I don't know, but I never did find the snap ring. So yeah, that caused all sorts of issues, and that's why I put the bushings in it and put, you know, repaired a couple of clutch packs that got burnt. So yeah, we're back on the road to having this thing on the road. So with that being said, y'all take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless you, and God bless America. We'll see you in the next one, y'all. Bye-bye.